Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. I have a special guest today, and I'm very excited. So today we're going to talk about skills and the importance of skills to business. And I've invited my colleague Kabir here, who I've been working with for a few years on this. And Kabir, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I thought you were going to do that, Lewis. Hi, I'm apparently the skills guy. Hi, everyone. Great to be part of this initiative that Lewis has started. My name is Kabir. I'm part of the Mercer team, Mercer Singapore team. I lead our skills work, whatever that is, especially in this unpredictable future of work. Over the last few years, Mercer's had the good fortune to do a whole bunch of skills-related, advisory, both for the government as well as for private sector. And I've just been, I found myself stumbling upon this area that I'm now deeply passionate about as we navigate through this really unpredictable. I'm not going to say unprecedented. I'm not going to say unprecedented time.
Kabir, it's interesting because right now, a lot of companies are, upgrading their resilience strategies. They've become really focused on saving money. A lot have frozen their hiring plans, and so hiring budgets have just been flattened out. But we are seeing then a pivot. The discretion, the HR budget that's left is being pushed into skills and capabilities programs, more internally focused. How do we make better use of the workforce we've currently got? So what kind of trends are you seeing in the skill space? What are organizations doing there to kind of upgrade the capabilities of their workforce? What's become important to them?
I get asked that question quite a bit, right? I think the key trend is really for me as I'm listening and observing is the focus towards soft skills, Lewis. I think for so many years we've invested in technical skills and AI and virtual reality and data mining and so on. And I think now organizations are really understanding and appreciating that these things, those technical skills will keep changing as we progress, right? But really, the more foundational, impactful skills to have through all of this change are the soft skills. And I say soft skills with a bit of a strain, as you can see the lines on the forehead. I don't think the name soft skills does justice.
Yeah.
But really the core skills, the human skills, the power skills, as I call them, is really the move towards those seems like a key focus area for organizations.
Right. So what do they look like? What are the sort of areas of the softer skills that you're seeing, coming forward?
Fascinating. Look, we did a project like 6 months ago with the government of Singapore. And the mandate was to go and try and identify what are the set of core skills that truly matter, that help you progress, that make you stay relevant. Some very interesting findings, right? We asked a whole host of people, what makes them successful from a soft skill, from a core skill perspective. Unsurprisingly so, what clearly comes out as a cluster of skills is the whole ability to communicate and collaborate. I think that will not change. It's been a consistent trend as we've asked organizations over the last few years. What was interesting to see that also came up quite a bit was skills like adaptability.
Yeah.
And hey, we are, if you're not adaptable in the times we are living in now, then you do have a question mark in terms of where you will be after we are done with this, and we will be done with this. Skills like self-management. I'm working 3 more hours a day, even though I'm working from home now, on the daily. So how am I, being able to strike a balance between personal and professional life without impacting my own brand, as a professional, without impacting my relationship with the people at home.
And exactly. I mean, so I think what we've seen is that, as individuals have adopted more technology into their lives and organizations have benefited from that, you see a blurring of boundaries. Technology really does that, right? It dissolves the boundaries between different areas of your life. now we've brought our work into our lives, into our homes, and
exactly,
we have actually the skills to and the discipline, which it's probably an outcome of skills, to structure our lives in a way that creates boundaries where we need them, because again, technology just dissolves them. We don't have to commute anymore. We've got these wonderful technologies, and obviously we can't go out right now, but other things like social media and all of that just brings the outside into our lives.
Exactly. We're so much more connected, right? We're so much more connected now, even though we're not together in person, than we were before. I personally feel like we are, and how do you maintain that balance, right?
So the other skill that we found when we were doing this project, which I thought was really interesting in the kind of cognitive area, was sense making, and that caught a lot of people's attention, didn't it? So do you remember what sense making contained? What it really was all about?
Traditionally, I think the way that people think about, and when you think sense making, it's not rocket science. I remember asking people what they truly meant by sense making, and they looked at us like we asked them the most stupid question. But you always, I think that the assumption you make is that it's linked to data. It's linked to copious amounts of data. Can you systematically, efficiently analyze data and make sense of it? And I think we soon realized that that's not what the focus is. The focus is more on being able to try and map out a way forward with any sorts of information you have, and it may not be data related. It may be just a scenario that you're presented with, and I think I think that's important as well. Lewis, I think another big sort of takeaway for us was the core skills that one needs to do our jobs effectively may be different from the core skills you need to progress your career. And I think that is an important sort of realization, because it sort of tells organizations and individuals to focus and to split the focus. You may be focusing day to day on a set of core skills and doing really good, but it may be doing nothing for your career. So
let's just talk about that, because that's an important point. So that's the difference, what some psychologists would call between emergence and effectiveness. So, so what does that mean? It means that to be effective at a task or a job requires one set of skills and capabilities. But to emerge as somebody who others pay attention to, or perhaps has leadership potential, or whatever it might be, to be seen as someone who can have more impact and be a more senior person, that's often a different set of skills. So, in what ways are those two things different in your, based on the research that we've been doing? What's in that you've seen? What are the kind of
I think
progression?
We ran the numbers, right? Because we did these massive surveys and we asked them. And if you look at just the collection of skills that come out, they're fairly different. The set of skills that help you progress, and again, this is a blanket sort of view across what we heard, were skills like transdisciplinary thinking, right? Was skills like the ability to influence. You could be a really good communicator, but you may not be good at influencing certain outcomes, right? And that itself is a skill.
Politics, isn't it? Yeah, like you need to understand social dynamics in order to progress. Managing diversity, now inclusion. These are sets of skills that consistently came up as skills that help you progress in your career. Yeah.
Cross industry, cross organizations. The set of skills that came up more to do with being effective in what your job is. Communication, of course. Learning agility came up quite a bit. Just being cognizant of the fact that how do you stay relevant? Today, I think that bucket of skills, if you remember, were your top set of skills. Anything and everything that helps the individual, nudges the individual to stay relevant, right? And I think learning agility was one of them.
Yeah. So let's talk just a little bit about learning, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I think is really difficult in the soft skill space, like we know how to train people to be engineers. We know the knowledge they need and the capabilities they need to be a good engineer. They need to know how to code, they need to understand system architecture, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you learn soft skills? What kind of capability training are organizations rolling out?
Oh,
develop that?
We'll need another 20 minutes.
Listen, do it in one or two, and then we can tell people where to find it.
We can do this. We can bore people later. No, listen. I think the learning equation is very complicated. Fundamentally, Mercer's belief and our belief is anything that can be taught is a skill, and I think soft skills, core skills, can be taught. Now, yes, when it comes to soft skills, to core skills, the equation is slightly more complex than when it comes to technical skills, where it's very specific interventions, training interventions, and theoretical concepts and academic concepts that can really nudge you to a higher proficiency of competence.
Yeah.
With the soft skills, it has to be a combination. So with the tools that we have at disposal, I think the organizations that have been able to crack it right, and very few have cracked it right, have made it a combination of interventions, right from coaching to actual competency-related training, to rotation, opportunities around the business. It's been a combination of interventions. And there again, for some people, the ROI will be more than those, and that's just because some of the inherent traits you're blessed with. But I think organizations are spending so much amount of money on copious amounts of online library data that they're throwing at their people, which is great. But I think the need of the hour is to be a little bit more scientific in terms of curating some of that content to the right skills. And that's why if you're focusing your learning budget to skills like adaptability, influence, self-management, sense making, how do you become better at those things?
Yeah.
And using a combination of interventions, I think that's the magic.
That's the winner. Very good.
Yeah, that's the winner.
All right. So, let's bring it to a close. It's super interesting. This is an incredibly important topic, and I think the work that we're doing, it's kind of broken up into three main phases or areas. The first is what kind of skills and capabilities do we need in order to continue to be successful? How do we keep them fresh? How do we make sure that it's not just these are the skills, there they are documented, done, but they continue to evolve, and the process for learning about skills is there. The second is understanding the workforce and the capabilities it currently has. We currently assume that the jobs that people do are directly correlated with the skills that people have. But of course, people sometimes have skills that their jobs don't need. And sometimes they cover up for skills they don't have with other capabilities. So, assessment has become a huge an important area for organizations to pursue. And then last, of course, is the learning and capability development area. And there, what we're seeing is content is there, but what organizations are doing is trying to help people match the right content with their needs. And this is about effective curation. So loads more we could talk about on this, but it's been great chatting to you, my friend. And, obviously I'll put a link to the work we're doing in this area in the comments. So thanks very much.
Wonderful.
Well done.